Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another update on the Decathlon Rockrider ST520. This is the bike that I bought from Walmart.com for $150 with free shipping, just paid sales tax. So it was 162 and change, something like that. So I've done a few videos already, just kind of my initial impressions of the bike, and it has been doing well. The last update was regarding the bottom bracket cups, which were slightly loose and causing some creaking noises. So far so good with my post-repair riding experience on that. But today we're turning our attention to the tires. Now, the couple of times that I have been out on the trail, now again, I'm not doing anything too crazy, but just kind of normal trail riding beyond what probably most people would use this bike for, which would be like bike paths and kind of graded gravel trails. I've had some issues with traction, and mostly that is kind of lateral traction, as I have been maybe on kind of some looser off-camber trails where you might not want to slide sideways too much, just for fear of going down the ledge on a little embankment, stuff like that. So we're going to be looking at these stock tires just briefly, just to show you kind of what they are. It's a 27.5 by 2.0. This is a very basic tire, wire bead, fairly thick casing, if I remember correctly, when I've had a set of these off of another bike before. And if you look at the tread pattern there, you've got fairly tightly spaced knobs there in the middle, so it runs pretty fast and smooth on pavement and hard packed trails, but you don't have a ton of traction that's going to provide you lateral grip. So you notice these side lugs right here are basically perpendicular to the direction of the tires, so they're not going to provide a lot of traction when you're slipping sideways. And I think that's part of the issue that I've had with this tire. Also, it is a relatively narrow tire at 2.0. Most even cross-country type tires these days are going to be 2.2, even up to 2.3 or 2.4. That's getting more into trail bike size tires, but I digress. These are fairly narrow, don't have a ton of volume. So what I wanted to do was find something that more of a cross-country tread tire. And what I came up with, because I didn't want to spend a ton of money, are these Vittoria Saguaros 27.5 by 2.2. Now you'll notice the tread has a very tightly spaced center tread design. Somewhat similar to what's on there. You do have more of a solid ridge down the center, but these knobs are raised up against, raised over that. And then you've got kind of these, smaller block tires. So these are definitely a cross-country tire. That's what it's classified as. And, I didn't want to sacrifice a whole lot in terms of rolling resistance, but I wanted to see if I could get a little bit more grip and then also a little bit more volume. The frame and the fork on that bike do provide quite a bit of room for probably up to like a 2.4, maybe a 2.5 tire, but I didn't want to go that big. A couple of reasons. It's not really necessary on the type of riding that I'm going to be doing. I'll show you again just a little bit of, like, that's the clearance on the fork, so plenty of room. Like, that's a good 12, 14 millimeters on each side, and then similar type clearances in the frame. So you do have plenty of room, but again, don't want to go too big on the tire. Also, the rims, these are not super wide rims, so you put a real wide tire and it's just not going to hold the tire at the right profile. What's going to happen is it's going to kind of crown the tire too much to where you're not getting a good contact patch down the middle, because the tire is going to be, basically too rounded over the top. And also, it doesn't provide a very stable base for that tire when you're cornering. The tire is going to tend to want to squirm on that rim. So wanted to keep the tire width relatively similar to what's on there, but just a little bit more volume. So 2.2, I think, is going to be right at the right size. So anyway, I found these Vittorias. These are being sold currently at Wheel and Sprocket, their website, eBay store, Amazon store, all that good stuff, for $19.95 per tire. And when I purchased it directly from their website, it did allow me to not pay sales tax like it would have if I'd have bought on eBay or Amazon. So that saved me, $3 or $4, whatever the sales tax, 8.25%. So anyway, just gonna throw this on the little scale real quick. These are claimed at 680 grams, and they're coming in, at least that one, at 685, 686. So pretty close to the claimed weight. That's not bad. I guarantee you the other tires are very, very heavy. So we're going to get this bike up in the stand, and I'm going to get those tires unmounted and throw these on, and then we'll see, do a before and after weight of the bike, and also see what the new, the old tires, what those weigh. So pull these old. So here, just a quick update as I am working on this bike. I know this is not the most precise way to do this since I'm just holding the scale in my hand, but it's getting pretty close. But I got this tire just looped over this thing, and yeah, 975, 970 something. So that's almost 300 grams of additional weight over what this tire right here weighs out at. And so what that means is over half a pound per wheel, and thus over a pound in theory for the entire bike, which when I weighed it just a moment ago on my little luggage digital scale, it was 33.25 pounds. So not a light bike, but if this knocks it off a pound of weight from there, all in rotating mass, you're going to feel that in addition to the benefits of the actual tire itself. So I'm excited to see what we end up getting out of this thing. All right, so check this out. I thought it'd be useful to provide some measurements of the original tires versus the new tires. So battery's dead on my caliper here, so hopefully you can see that. So 53 millimeters, or right at about 2.1. So it's actually slightly wider than the advertised size. That's kind of unusual, but yeah. So 2.1, and then let's check out the new tire. Now, keep in mind, brand new tires do need to stretch a little bit. So like you mount them up, air them up, and then put them on, mount them up, air them up, and then let them sit for, 24 hours, and usually they'll stretch out a little bit. But this one's already measuring out to the advertised 2.2. So that's not a huge difference right now. This will probably stretch a little bit. It might end up at like 2.25 or 2.3. But we'll just have to wait and see what that does. And I'll probably add that as part of the description or a comment in the video, just so y'all have some more information on that. But that's where we're sitting right now. And again, the big difference, I think, is just going to be the overall better performance of this tire being a higher end type of a tire, folding bead, lighter weight, better tread patterns. So that's what we're going after here. Me again. I just thought somebody might be interested, if you're watching this, and knowing the OEM tubes that Decathlon put in here are CSTs, which decent quality tubes. So good for them for not using the cheapest, lowest dollar stuff there is. And there we have it, the finished product. So yeah, these look pretty good on here. Again, not drastically different than what was on there. Still a ton of tire clearance, which not a bad thing. And yeah, so the weight on this ended up coming in at 31.9 pounds, down from 33.25. So yeah, that's a pound and a third. Like I said, almost 600 grams of weight, and that's nothing to sneeze at, especially on rotating mass. That's where you're going to notice it the most on something like this. Yeah, 32 pound extra large hardtail. Yeah, it's decent for having, really inexpensive components. And again, the type of riding that you're going to do, it's just fine. Like I'm really anxious to get this thing out on the trails and see how these new tires do. But just riding up and down the street on the pavement, nice and smooth and fairly quiet, just like the other tires were. And again, much lighter. So I think that's where I'm going to notice the biggest difference is just in the lost weight on rotating mass. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up here, and next video should be kind of an update on my impressions of the bike after I have installed these new tires on it. So stay tuned for that. And again, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff, and everybody keep the rubber side down.